Good morning and welcome back to Margin. This morning we're going to talk about whether you're experiencing prolonged stress. So let's jump right into it. So if you are experiencing some level of burnout, you may be looking at where the cause of your stress predominantly comes from and how long that stress has been prevalent in your life. Now, the stress may have been dormant for years due to previous poor financial decisions, maybe due to difficult relationships that have, carried on for years, or maybe a comfortable career that you've been in for a long time, but isn't quite right for you, isn't the right fit for you. Now, most people can feel the effects of stress, whether it's angst, whether it's anxiety, whether it's the irritability that that others experience from them, or their general unrest. But how do you know what these feelings are producing under the surface? So the American Institute of Stress had an article called Stress Effects: How is Stress Affecting You?, where it outlined the different systems of the body and how they react to stress. Now, I find this to be very important so that you are able to calibrate how you process information, so that then you are also keeping and being mindful of your body and the effects on your body based on the stress that you're taking on, that you're processing through. Now, I looked further at an article called Stress Effects on the Body by the American Psychological Association, and I combined both resources, basically looking at their findings and some of the effects on key systems of the body. The system of the body that you may be most familiar with is probably the immune system. The immune system is especially important to be able to have proper cell-to-cell communication so that the body's not fighting itself. Now, not surprisingly, stress hormones have a negative effect on your immune system, causing it to fight itself and not identifying the right cells to fight. Now, the stress on your body may prolong recoveries. It may allow for infections, and it may also make you more susceptible to catching what others may be carrying. Now, your nervous system is negatively affected by stress as well, in producing physical reactions to stress within the body. Now, this system can cause the overactivation to other systems in the body as it triggers those other areas. Now, it does this by signaling the adrenal glands to release the adrenaline hormone for fight or flight, as well as the stress hormone cortisol, which we've all heard of. Now, in high doses, neither are good, causing higher blood pressure, effects on digestion, amongst a number of other impacts. So the musculoskeletal system is affected if you have experienced a migraine or headache or just tension in your muscles by the constant effects caused by high stress levels. Now, this can cause issues with recovery, with atrophy, amongst a number of different other chronic issues. Now, your respiratory and your cardiovascular system is two other systems that are heavily affected by stress. Now, these systems may be easy to identify when it comes to how high stress actually affects them. Now, many people have experienced shortness of breath, breathing harder and hyperventilating, increased cholesterol, or other aspects in regards to an increase in your heart beating faster and working harder, which increases the likelihood of a stroke or a heart attack. So the ongoing pressure can lead to inflammation to critical vessels like the coronary arteries, linked to heart attacks. So obviously very important, being that that's showing a connection between stress and heart attacks. Now, in addition to these areas, stress has been linked to affect the gastrointestinal system, the endocrine system, as well as the reproductive system, to just name a few. Now, this should be a huge motivation to work on regulating how much stress we allow in our lives and allow to control us. Now, I've mentioned this before, especially with personal finance. It's easy to gain a lot of information, but not necessarily take that information and apply that information so that you're taking action to move forward based on that information that you're gathering. Now, take a look at the past 18 months isolated to that. Just the influence of the media on our ability to properly regulate the stress on these systems. I mean, look at that alone. And then add to that any perpetual stress leading up to those events and how those events worsened because of that. Now, I think it's always important to reflect, not to dwell on or to relive the past, but to reflect in order to adjust your behaviors going forward. So, taking a look at your health, for example. So, what has been concerning about your specific health? Has it been your blood pressure? Has it been your weight? Maybe hereditary conditions? What is it? And think about how stress may be directly correlated to these health issues, or at least further worsening them. Now, I think oftentimes we don't want to directly correlate any health concerns to what we dwell on, but it seems like our body reacts more to our mindset and our outlook than we care to admit. So what are these aspects of life you are dwelling on? What are these concerns, these fears, these worries, or you name it? I mean, what is it that you are dwelling on? And I would encourage you to write these down so that you are intentional about seeing what could be correlated to your health. Now, once identified, you are able to then figure out whether your concerns are valid. You are able to take those emotions and apply logic in order to determine whether you are allowing the proverbial tail to wag the dog, whether you are allowing those fears that may be unfounded to influence the decisions and the logic that you've already run its course on. So my call to action today is to identify what it is that's at the source of your stress and what control you have over it to lessen that stress. Now, looking at changes that can be made to control what you can actually control will be especially important. If this information is helpful to you, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're reminded to come back on a daily basis and improve in managing your personal finances. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.